you doing?
I'm doing good, Nick. How are you?
I'm well, thank you very much.
And Nick, first of all, thanks so much for joining with me today, and a real pleasure to have you. Speaking about your debut single, Tunnel Vision, which was out on October 29, a great song, amazing work behind this music, like pure heavy awesomeness in this song. I totally love this
Thank you.
song. And would you like to tell me a bit on the making of this song and the work behind
Sure. So from a musical perspective, eh, my wife and I went to Las Vegas to get married, and on the way back, when we got back, I started playing around on a seven-string guitar that I had just purchased, and um, I don't know if it makes a difference, but I purchased that guitar in Las Vegas. So we brought it home from our kind of holiday. And the first thing that I started playing on that guitar when we got home was the main riff, like digga 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 down, digga 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 down. And then it took maybe a few days or a week to start kind of putting all these kind of ideas together for the song. And then because the Human Crushing Machine is like a solo project, so to speak, I record the majority of the instruments. So then, after I had the blueprint for the guitars and the bass, I then started working on what I wanted the drums to sound like. And because I'm a session drummer
it?
as a job, as my job. Um, I'd like to approach the drums um, for them not to be too busy. I like the drums to kind of help just carry
Yeah.
the song. So that's why there's not like kind of crazy fills or stuff like that. Um, eh, so once I had all the parts, then I hadn't really started to think about what I wanted to do with the music until maybe some weeks or months later where I thought, you know what, I want to start releasing music. As I kept on writing and recording, I thought, you know what, maybe I should just try and take this more seriously as an art project and put out music that sounds good. So tell me if I'm babbling, by the way, please. Um, it, so at the time, um, do you know a band called Paradise Lost?
Yeah, I do. I do. Great band, great band.
Great, great band. They're one of my favorites and have been for a long time. And around the time that I was working on all this new music, um, Paradise Lost had announced that their drummer,
Mm.
this Finnish guy, had just left. And I was like, oh my God, I need to try to use all of my contacts that I know in the industry to see if I could get an audition with the band. So in the process of contacting as many people as I could, this guy from Austria that I'd done some drums for, he came to me or he said to me, look, you need to speak with this guy called Mark Minot who knows them. And so I sent him a message, and Mark Minot is he's a record producer and a mixing engineer who's worked with big bands like My Dying Bride and so on. Um, so he tried to we got in touch and we started talking about it and like maybe him helping me get an audition with the band, which didn't pan out, but that's okay. But when it came to working on like when it came to then kind of thinking about, well, who do I want to mix this music, I thought, well, why don't I have Mark have a go at it and work with him, and it it worked out really well. He's a lovely person. He does great great work. And yeah, what more do you want? Like, I think he understands, how I want the music to sound, and he has helped me. Um, he's helped me bring that to fruition. Um, One of the funny things about, I realize I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry. So please tell me.
We are here
Uh,
to talk, so I'm always happy to listen to you, Nick. So
okay.
we can have this conversation, no problem at all.
Okay. Thank you. So when I sent Mark all the files that I had recorded, he he said to me, "Oh, is that you that's singing?" And I was like, "Yes, that's me singing." And he said, your vocals are not great. So he recommended that I get an outside vocalist
Mm.
to record the vocals properly. So he suggested a friend of his from his band called Kill to This, who are a British metal band from like the late 90s.
Gotcha.
Um, and so I got in touch with the singer Simon, his friend, and yeah, and he is the person who you hear
Yeah.
um, singing on the track. And because I'm also not a great lead guitar player, um, I wanted to hire um, either guitar players that I really admire or friends of mine, or in which case they are both, like a lot of my guitar playing friends are absolutely insane. So I asked my friend Frank, "Hey man, would you be interested in, playing lead guitar on the song?" And he said, "Absolutely." And again, that's what you hear on the track is um so from a artistic perspective, what um what I wanted to do was, instead of telling Frank, like, here's exactly what I want you to play because I can't do it, I wanted to trust the artistic vision of
Mm.
the people that I work with, um, because I kind of, yeah, I want, let me rephrase that. Like, I trust the artistic vision of the people that I want to work with. So I wanted to have them paint their own picture
Yeah.
on top of the song, and let them express their creativity, which I think helps kind of elevate
Mhm.
the music. So yeah. Sorry, I just banged on about it for like ages. Sorry.
Great, great, great. And you also have released a music video for Tunnel Vision. So would you like to tell me a bit on the making of this video and the work behind this video?
Sure, sure. So the Tunnel Vision is about homelessness, which I think is an important topic to discuss. Um, Homelessness um, is, as I understand, a crisis that's not just, you know, let me say that again. Sorry, this needs to kick in,
Yeah.
this coffee. Hold on. Homelessness is an important issue to discuss because it's everywhere. Uh, where I'm from in Chile, um, it's there's a lot of poverty, and and you can see it so clearly.
Mm.
Um, when we were and here in England, where I live, there's a lot of poverty too. Uh, in India, of course, there's also a lot of poverty. So it's not just uh, 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 it's a universal thing.
Yeah.
In Las Vegas, where my wife and I got married, it was when we went to get married, it was our second time there, and we spent more time this on the second trip, and we got to see um, a lot of homeless people in the streets. And of course, like I said, this happens everywhere. But one of the things that was shocking to me about it was that in Las Vegas, it's the desert. It's in the middle of the desert, and the sun really bakes.
Mm.
It gets really hot.
Yeah.
And the people out there, like their skin color, uh, was um was like leathered. It was like
Yeah.
it looked like rich leather, but not in a good way. Like as in these people are just exposed to that sun, and it just must be terrible, like being just boiling in the boiling heat. So what people do is they go under these tunnels in the city where they try and seek refuge, and all these people are either, say, veterans
Mm.
or um, uh, people with addiction issues or people that have escaped domestic abuse. And they live in these tunnels that sometimes, even though it's, of course, in the middle of the desert, sometimes there's a lot of rain,
Yeah.
and these tunnels can flood and
Yeah.
people can die as a result of just being sleeping in there, and suddenly, boom, the tunnels just flood in. Um, um, there's also police raids where like police will go into the tunnels and take all of these people's belongings, and it's just a very sad situation. Um, so okay, yes, going back to your to your question. So Tunnel Vision is about that. It's about the homelessness crisis in like with the focus in Las Vegas, those tunnels. But of course, it's relevant to it's a wider issue. So the video, um, I wanted it to reflect in a kind of abstract way the like the despair, So as you've seen the video, is just there's lots of colors and it's kind of distorted, and it's um a little bit abstract, but it follows the story of someone of the lyrics, which is someone who's desperate, uh, and and while that's happening, while they're trying to survive, there's the glitz and glamour of Las Vegas City, which is uh, where underneath that there's um all that kind of uh, crazy stuff happening underground. Um, so I found an artist in Indonesia
Mm.
who does animated videos, and asked him to. I wanted to be specific. So I had watched some of the videos that he'd done before, and I had seen that an old bandmate of mine from a previous band, his new band, had released a video at the time, and I really liked the animation of it. So I wanted to get in touch with that same guy, but I wanted it to look very different from what he had done before. Uh, Again, kind of trusting that, like his artistic vision, I wanted him to try and kind of I wanted him to try to interpret what I had in my head,
Mm.
and he did, and it looks very cool,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. A great video and amazing work behind this video. So thanks for all the awesomeness. And you also have introduced Chris Poland in this song as a guest guitar.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes. So with Chris Poland, so Chris Poland is not on this song. Chris Poland is on a single that I'm going to be releasing
Ah,
after.
oh,
So the um so I think the press release that was released um might have been a little bit confusing in the wording. But yes, so Chris Poland, so the story with that, of course, I'm a huge, 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 huge Megadeth fan. My favorite album of all time is Countdown to Extinction,
Oh,
right?
great, great album, man.
That is such like for any genre, be it like funk or like all the other stuff that I like, Countdown to Extinction, if I was to be in a desert island, that is the one album that I would want. So eh, so of course Chris Poland plays on the first two Megadeth albums, but I'm such a huge fan of the way that he plays, which is so different from what was around back then in the metal kind of genre, and also today, like is his style is very unique. And I thought, you know what? What if I got in touch with his management and asked if he would be interested in playing? And his management were really nice, and they said, "Yeah, let's try it." So I sent him the song, which I hope when it comes out that you'll listen to it. Um, and he, I think he had been on tour at the time, so it took a few weeks for me to receive some files or and um, and when they came back, and I heard what he had done on top of the music. I was just completely blown away, and I couldn't believe that someone who I've admired
Yeah.
since, I was I don't know, like an early teenager, that he had done, that he had put his artistic interpretations on something that I had composed. And pff, yeah, I can't wait to release that as well. Uh, yeah. So yeah, yes, that's the story. That's the story behind that.
Amazing, amazing. And I know this girl that gonna become some kind of secret on the release of this upcoming single, but do you have time and a day that you're planning to release the second single or something like that?
Okay, so eh, not yet. So because I'm an independent artist,
Yeah,
eh, um, things as you know, some things cost money,
I
and
know.
so I'm financing everything myself. So like paying for videos, paying for mixing and mastering, and then like I've been working with Richard, um, for like a Sheltered Life PR. Um, of course, it requires money. So um, I try to save as much as I can in order to then be able to do these things. So because of that, the process is slow. Um, I mean, the everything for, with regards to that song, which is called 44 Days, um, it, the, everything's been recorded already, and all I need to do is mix it and master it, and then, of course, make a video for it and so on. But I don't have a release date yet. What I'm focusing on at the moment is trying to make sure that Tunnel Vision goes to as many people as possible. But I guess um, so. So I'm trying to focus on trying to get as many gigs as I can. So I'm working on that. But it, I think what's important for me is um, is to not try and rush things.
Yeah.
What I'm really enjoying about the pace of things is it's everything is exciting, but I don't want to like pressure myself into not enjoying the process of making music, of releasing it, of playing live. Because I don't know, I'm in my 40s now, and um, and my goal isn't like to take over the world, with music and going like, oh yeah, we gotta like, go and absolutely like try and gig in as many places as possible and all that. I think quality is more important, and if the music I release finds the right audience, I
Mhm.
think that to me is more important. And hopefully with time, this grows and there's a bigger audience that is that comes to enjoy the music, and that I think is um is more important, than trying to go out there and try to do as much as possible because, A, there's no time. B, I don't know about you, man, but like, the older you get, the less energy you have, So it's try to focus the energy in in more, in better quality rather than quantity. So I don't know.
Gotcha, gotcha. And the modern day musicians and bands, the trend is like release single by single, and after a couple of years, combine them together and release this album. Are you gonna follow the same trend?
Right. Okay. Cool. I think for the time being, yes, the idea, like I have 6 or 7 songs that
Mhm.
are um uh that are kind of written. 4 or 5 of them are ready to be mixed and mastered. Um, I think singles for the time being, again, going back to what I was saying about budget,
Yeah,
um, it I think it works out better for me financially to do singles um and then an album. Now, I don't know if the album would have some of the same songs or maybe just write
yeah, yeah,
new, like all new material for it. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, I would like to release maybe um, next year or the year after, like either an EP or a full length. Because from what um, I was speaking with, who was it? It might have been Richard,
mm,
in fact, who was saying that singles, as you're saying, it's been a trend for a long time for bands to release singles and then kind of compile them all into a big release. Um, he was saying that albums are, if I remember correctly, of course, that albums are kind of coming back. They're making a comeback. So, um, but I think, mm, again, about this idea of like working at an enjoyable pace, I think maybe taking it as it comes, like one day at a time. But I think might be and whether that means just continue doing singles, or maybe like a little EP, or just, doing an album.
yeah.
Ugh,
Hmm.
I don't know. You know?
We got to wait and see.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, there's no doubt about it. I would like to make an album that is for sure the something I'd like to do. And again, sorry, I'm babbling, but like um the like Human Crushing Machine, the idea behind the project, the band is like all of the songs that I've written are very specifically about things that have been in the news, like things that are. terrible.
And
So, like Tunnel Vision, for example, is about very real things. There's a song I've written called Terminal Love Disease, which is about domestic abuse, and like here in England, unfortunately, there's a lot of that. And I spent a long time researching, reading articles and reports. So the lyrics are all about these very real things that affect um, real people. There's another song called Wounded Child, No Surviving Family, which is a term that was coined very specifically for after, well, it's still ongoing, but the horrible situation that's happening in the Gaza Strip, you
mm,
know.
yeah,
Um, eh, another song, another song called Host is about we had here a prime minister called Liz Truss.
yeah,
I don't know if you
yeah,
heard about her, who was a
very short-termed.
very short term. Yeah, like I don't know if you heard or read about it, but one of the newspapers here said, they put a head of lettuce,
Yeah.
and they live streamed this head of lettuce, and they were betting that, well, the joke was, what will last longer, Prime Minister Liz Truss or the head of lettuce? And the head of lettuce won. So she was canned or well, she resigned before the head of lettuce rotted. So the lyrics are about how awful she was, and um, and the horrible impact that she had on the well on in England, the United Kingdom, Great Britain. Yeah, those are some of the topics that so putting something like that as an album where it's real stories about real things that affect us all in our lifetime, because I don't want my lyrics to be, oh, could this be about this or could this be about that? And I want them to be like, no, this is what happens. Um, so having that as a concept that runs through an entire album would be really cool. So yeah, I'd love to put out um a bigger body of work, a longer one.
Amazing, amazing. And speaking on human crushing machine, how did the idea come and what made you to start this new metal project?
Right. So in university, I used to be but I had my own band, and uh and I was the singer, and yeah, I was the singer, although sometimes I played guitar. But I found that really satisfying. Um, after university, I moved to London, and I wanted to keep going with my own music. Excuse me. But um, but I found it was very difficult to find musicians, at least drummers, guitar players. There were loads. Um, so because I played drums, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to take a slightly different approach to this, and I put out an advert online that said, um, "I'm a drummer looking for a band," and the amount of emails I got was crazy. So I ended up answering to this band called the Mercy House, who I joined, and I was in for many, many, many years. We did a lot of touring, and we were fairly successful, um, which was and I love my bandmates. To this day, like we have a little WhatsApp group, and we're always chatting, even though we're not really active anymore. Um, so. I was part of, I was part of the songwriting process with that band. However, uh, after the band disbanded, it, I didn't do any original music for a very long time. And part of that was maybe I wasn't feeling very confident. And some years ago, I started messing around with these ideas where I would spend just a maximum of 2 hours, and I would write a 1 minute song from scratch within 2 hours. So have the idea, start with either a guitar part or a drum part, and then from start to finish, just record drums very quickly, play the guitars, blah, 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 and then boom, put it online as a creative exercise. And I found that to be really satisfying, um, and a lot of fun. So um, that started kind of getting me interested in creating and writing music again. Um, and um, some of the songs that I was making weren't necessarily metal. Some were kind of like quirky rock music, or maybe with a little bit of country here and there, or funk. Um, but some of them were very heavy, kind of death metal kind of tracks in some cases. And the the thing about those 1 minute tracks, um, which was interesting, was that um, because I gave myself a time constraint, um, I was not opting, I wasn't trying to make things perfect. I was trying to capture the energy of a performance. So, I would play the drums. I didn't have a click in my head. I was just trying to play some parts, do one take that felt good, even if the time was a little bit wonky here and there with mistakes, it didn't matter. So then when I put the guitars on top, I would try to write along to the drum idea if I had started with the drums, which was most of the time. Um, and so I thought, well, this feels good not to worry so much about perfection. Of course, I would try to play the stuff well, obviously, like, um, but less worrying about perfection, and prioritize energy and feel. So that I wanted to, when I decided, finally, I think I'm gonna start writing proper songs, well, proper, like longer songs. I wanted to carry that same lesson that exercise taught me into what I'm doing now, into Human Crushing Machine. So, when you hear tunnel vision, um, there's nothing fixed about it. Like, I hear music from uh, by other bands sometimes that feels like the drums, for instance, have been like edited so that they sound absolutely perfect. And sure, sometimes there are reasons for doing that, um, but that takes away the humanity of a performance. And I want to listen to something that's performed by people. Like last night, we were listening to, like, I should have done this a long time ago, but I bought the first Van Halen album.
Oh,
And we were listening to it last night over dinner with my wife, and it sounds like it's people playing. Um, in the car for the last few weeks, I bought uh, "Slave to the Grind" by
Skid Row.
Skid Row. Yeah, uh, and so I stuck the CD in, and it's been in repeat for the last couple of weeks in the car, and it sounds like it's performed by people. It doesn't sound like someone went like, I'm gonna program these drums,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to play these guitars, and then I'm going to make sure that everything is to a grid.
Yeah.
And sure, like the music may sound cool, but it doesn't sound like it's performed by real people. So that's what I wanted to avoid with this. Mark asked me, the mixing engineer, mixing mastering engineer, um, he said whether like I was very specific with him and I said, don't fix anything. Just, just everything needs to be nuanced, even if there's like little things that sound like may have been mistakes. It's just part of the performance. Um, so yeah, does that again, I'm sorry, I've babbled.
No, no,
So um, but yeah, I hope that
absolutely,
answers your question.
absolutely. And from Human Crushing Machine, from a solo project, are there chances this evolved into a full-time band?
I think so. Yes. So the people who I'm performing with live are very good friends of mine, um, and um, and I would and I would like we're having such a good time whenever we rehearse. The vibe inside the room is so nice. Um, the players I'm playing with. I have a friend of mine called Russell McGuire, who is a bass player who is first very lovely, but also an extremely amazing bass player. The guitar player is a guy called Don Stick, who is one of these people that you can say, "Hey, can you play that?" And he'll be like, "No problem." Or, "Hey, how about can you play this kind of thing?" And he'll be like, "No problem." Or, "Hey, can you learn this?" And he'll just listen to it, like in the car, for example, like on the way down to
Mhm.
meet us for a rehearsal, and he'll kind of have it figured out, so he can come in and start playing something straight away. Um, and um, and I mean, he is, yeah, an insane guitar player. And My good friend Russell Swallow. So there's two Russells in the band, um, who is an amazing singer. Um, he is such a wonderful artist with a great expressive voice. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to the live version of Tunnel Vision that I posted on the Instagram page. I'll send you a link to it after. Um, and the way that he interprets um, the vocals that were recorded by Simon is great. And on a couple of tunes that we're working on, eh, he has um, he has come in and um, written melodies for some songs that didn't have like that didn't have any vocals before. And yeah, just what he brings is it's lovely. It's very nice. Um, so yeah, I think moving forward, um, we're going to continue working together in a live setting with recording. I'm not sure. I definitely, of course, want Don to record his his lead guitar parts on songs. But for the time being, I think from a recording perspective, I want to still be able to do the bulk of it.
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean that that might not change. Maybe when we come to do an album,
yeah,
maybe I'll say instead of doing it in my studio, hire a big room and just have us record live every song, you know, because then that will feel more organic. Um, so yeah, so I've been thinking about all these things. But yeah, like working with these guys has been so nice so far, that yeah, more please.
Awesome. And speaking of 2026, which is going to be coming real soon,
Yeah, please don't tell me about it.
are there some big touring plans for you?
Right. No big tours in the foreseeable future. I think I'm working on at the moment, I'm working on getting us gigs in London to begin with. I think, okay, put it this way. Sometimes you hear about a business or a company that tries to, and I'm going to generalize here. Um, they come up with this business plan and they get a lot of investment and they open loads of stores in a city or in a country. Um, but then the business fails. It turns out it's not sustainable for whatever reason. Um, and I think businesses that I studied business and marketing in university, I'm sorry. Um, eh, but businesses that start small and they become well known in their local area, and little by little, they grow organically, are more successful over time.
Yeah.
So I think that is the approach I want to take. So we're based in London, and I want to start in Camden at least, or well, in London,
Yeah.
um, in venues that um, that are heavy metal focused, I guess, um, and start little by little getting the word out. And hopefully, over time, more people will hear about it, and then that will open more doors to doing, stuff, bigger stuff or stuff outside of London. Um, so, so with that in mind, my focus at the moment is I've targeted 5 or 6 venues in London, which I'm currently chasing to try and book slots um, in 2026. I mean, if offers come
Mm.
that say, hey, we heard about, you know, would you like to come and play here or with this band? Yes, please. Why not? Um, but just let those things happen kind of organically.
Gotcha. Perfect. And have you defined the sound of human crushing machine, or the music is still going to evolve? I mean, speaking of the music genre, so
Yeah.
have you found the perfect sound for this band, or what is your thoughts on this?
Okay. Uh, um, some of my favorite bands, um, their sound has changed as they have evolved as artists. Um, eh, and I think that's good. However, some other bands that I very much love have kept a similar sound as their careers or as they have grown as artists. For me, I think um, growth and exploring new things is is a positive thing. So if music starts kind of changing a little bit or incorporating different elements, I welcome that. I want I want the music that I make to just be a reflection of maybe where I was at a particular time. Um, but I wanted to, and I mean, I'm saying this now, but maybe in 5 years I'll be like, haha, 5 years ago I said some really stupid things. Um, Eh, for now, I'd like it to stay rooted in like heavy stuff that I really want to get out of my system. Some of the stuff I'm working on now at the moment has some elements of death metal, um, which is something that I've always kind of wanted to try. Um, eh, but At the same time, I love. Have you heard of a band called Tower of Power?
Not really.
No, it's a funk band from the 70s, who are just like so good. Um, if I don't know if you're into that kind of music, but they have a self-titled album called Tower of Power, and um, so yeah, I mean, incorporating some funk or maybe like indie down the line or some elements of that is absolutely fine. But I wanted to, for the time being, to be really rooted in the stuff that I grew up with, which was Megadeth and Cannibal Corpse and Paradise Lost and Metallica. I used to listen to Nirvana a lot. I grew up listening to Casey and the Sunshine Band and Roxette and the Beatles and Bill Haley and his Comets. So I don't know. I want it to be like an expression of those things that I'm very fond of. Um, so yeah, to answer your question, I'm open to evolution,
Yeah.
but it's got to be ah good, you know. I don't know.
Awesome, 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 awesome. And Nick, finally, do you like to give some message for the viewers and who are new to Human Crushing Mission?
Sure, yeah. A message to them. Eh, w- what kind of message do you mean?
Anything you want to say to them, like about the music you are creating and how you want to reach out to them? Anything?
Oh, right. Yeah, sure. Okay. Hello. And please have a listen. Um, uh, I think if I was to say to someone why they should check, at least have listened to what we have so far in Tunnel Vision, is because I think there's a social consciousness element about it, which I think is is important, and hopefully that social consciousness has an element of catharsis, like where you can get something out of it by listening. That's a really difficult question you've asked me. Um, eh, but yeah, and I think the music comes from a good place. Um, I'm not trying to do this for the wrong reasons, whatever those may be. Like, I think if, for example, I put out music and only a handful of people like it, that's absolutely fine for me. Like, ultimately, I'm writing this for myself. I want to put art out there, and if it resonates with people, that's great. So if the listener or the viewer, if you are one of those people, then, awesome. I'm very pleased that you will have enjoyed it. And likewise, if you think, that sucked, that's okay too. Like, but give it a chance, I guess. I hope you enjoy it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Nick, I want to thank you so much again for giving me this wonderful opportunity to have you on this interview. And thank you so much for Tunnel Vision, a great song, a great kick for Human Crushing Mission. And we are all looking forward for the next singles that will be coming out sooner. And I wish you all the best and I hope we can connect again soon with more interviews in the future. And thanks for the awesomeness and take care of yourself.
Thank you very much. And look, again, like I said at the beginning, thank you very much for your time, like, and for your kindness to have me be part of this. I will most definitely. I think if I haven't done it already, I might have already started following the channel on social media. I'm gonna have to check, but I very much appreciate the opportunity. So, and you've been so lovely. Thank you. And
Thanks so much.
I very much appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Take care and have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you very much. See you later.
See you later. Bye.